Okay, so welcome to your first asynchronous lesson for English 1219F. Today, it is, I think, the best place to start for this course is to really define critical thinking. That is one of the major outcomes of this course. You are going to enhance your critical thinking skills and then be able to communicate those thoughts clearly. So let's start with critical thinking. What is it and why is it so important? So anytime you consume any kind of information, really, in order to be a thoughtful, good citizen of your community and the world, is to think about what is it that I just heard or read or watched, and why was that produced in the way that it was, right? What is the actual message that is being sent to me? Now, we do this a lot, or we should do this a lot, in terms of when we look at advertising, when we read things on the internet, when we have conversations with our friends or family, when we listen to politicians. So many times in our lives, we get information, and it is our due diligence to just check and make sure that what we are reading or listening to is is good and ethical and valuable. The definition that we have here, it's the mode of thinking about any subject where the thinker sort of improves the quality of thinking by asking some questions and making sure that what they are consuming is up to a good standard. So, as I mentioned, right, we consume material everywhere. Everywhere you go. It can be signs on the road, it can be things you read through apps, it could be your friends and family, TV, movies, everything, right? And we live in a fairly divisive world right now, right? People have opinions and they're pretty strong about those opinions. So, this is why critical thinking matters. But you want to really question yourself, right? Just because I'm seeing something doesn't necessarily mean that it is the truth, right? We all sort of, have this idea that this like truth that the sky is blue, but really when you look at the sky at any given time, is it always blue? Right? This matters because of context, right? Of where we are in the world and what we are seeing at the time, maybe some personal or cultural or historical background, right? We really need to sort of question this idea of truth. So, critical thinking is just asking yourself, right? Why did this person write this or say this or create this? And why is it that I respond in the way that I do? Why does that material make me feel or think or believe a certain way? This is really the crux of critical thinking. So, how do you think critically? Well, you want to ask yourself questions about how you are responding and also maybe how the material was put together, right? There is a video that I have on Blackboard that goes through more of this. So these are the sort of main suggestions that that video has for how to think critically. I encourage you to watch that video. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Now, the last one, avoid fallacies. We're going to talk about fallacies a lot more later on in the course, but for now, I just want you to understand that a fallacy is an argument that is constructed in a way that maybe feels true, or on the surface it might come across okay, but really when you dissect it, there are some falsities created in that argument that negate it. Okay, so some of the things you might already know are causation does not equal correlation, right? Maybe you've heard of a straw man before, or a straw person before. Maybe you have heard of ad nauseum, right? These kinds of things we'll get into more, but I want you to start thinking about these ideas that just because something is said in a certain way, right, doesn't necessarily make it a valid argument.